are now listening to the IELTS podcast. Learn from tutors and ex-examiners who are masters of IELTS preparation. Your host, Ben Worthington.
Topic, ideas, grammar, vocabulary, and sample answers all around the topic of social media and society. Hi there, my name is Ben Worthington, and in this tutorial I'm going to give you a very practical, straightforward introduction to the topic of social media. We are making these tutorials, the topic idea tutorials, because we know it's difficult for students to see questions and come up with ideas. Why do we even have to think of ideas when this is a language exam? Well, basically I wouldn't say a clash of cultures, but it's a cultural issue. In the West, especially in Northern Europe, Northern US, North America, we have this education system which is based on critical thinking and developing our own ideas and opinions. And in other countries, they have rote learning and memorization. And therefore, when a topic such as social media and the pros and cons, or what do you think, and give your own opinion, these kind of questions around certain topics, it's very common for students just to go blank. And that's exactly why we're doing this. Now, there's two ways to cure this, my mind goes blank. If you've got the time, you can do extensive reading, extensive listening to all the topics regarding all the topics covered in the IELTS exam. Or you can listen to these tutorials and we will just give you the instant ideas. And to get ideas, you need to look at it from different points of view. You can look at it from a governmental point of view, from a citizen's point of view, from a company's point of view. You can also look at the pros and cons of the topic, which is a more broader view. And that's what we're aiming for in this tutorial. We're also, as I said at the beginning, we're going to look at some vocabulary terms. We're going to look at a grammar point as well. Mainly modal verbs. Modal verbs are straightforward. It's quite kind of easy, but it's good just to be aware of them and get a refresher. So let's have a look at some modal verbs. We've got can, could, may, might, must, should, will, and would. Usually they express necessity, possibility, position, permission, or ability. They're quite straightforward to use and definitely essential if you're going to be scoring in a band 7 or above. Let's have a look. Some pros of social media. It allows for instant communication. It provides a platform for sharing ideas and information. It can be a source of support for individuals facing similar challenges. It can provide a platform for activism. It can provide opportunity for learning and development. It can provide opportunities for networking and career advancement. Quite straightforward. That's more than enough to write an essay or a paragraph regarding the pros. You just need to develop them. Yeah? I'll just develop one argument for example. It can provide opportunities for networking and career advancement. For example, LinkedIn is one of the most, effective channels nowadays for gaining a promotion or looking for new opportunities. That's enough. We could develop it even further, but just mentioning LinkedIn, most people know about it. The argument is proven. Nobody goes on LinkedIn to share cat photos. If they do, they're probably lost. You go to LinkedIn for career reasons. What are the cons of social media? It can contribute to feelings of isolation. Now, this is an argument that you would definitely need to develop. Why would it contribute to feelings of isolation? You definitely need to ask yourself why. Well, here's how I would write it. Social media can contribute to feelings of isolation because if you if a person, just to be on the safe side, if a person hardly goes out but sees regular updates of work colleagues or friends and family doing activities, then they can feel this compounds the feeling of loneliness and an isolated existence, for example. Some of these you do need to develop, and we develop them with because. Social media can be addictive, comma. This is largely because the platforms are engineered to bring back users, usually with small dopamine hits or strong reactions to posts. Again, let me just remind you, we are not convincing the examiner never to log into Facebook or TikTok again. That's not the basis of this essay or this paragraph. The basis of this paragraph is to communicate an idea effectively and simply, and making sure it's on topic. So just be careful. Do not get carried away with this. The main goal here is to score points for task response, present a clearly communicated argument. This is a language exam, not a test of intelligence, not an intelligence exam. Social media can lead to distractions and decreased productivity. Again, develop it. Don't just leave it hanging there. For example, most workplaces nowadays prohibit using Facebook on company computers due to the ease or due to the time spent on these platforms. Maybe needs rephrasing, but that's the general idea. Social media can spread hate speech and extremist views. That's the one I would pick. Out of the ones I've mentioned so far, I think that's the most relevant one, the most topical one, and it's definitely a problem, and the examiners are probably going to agree with that as well. Actually, I think nowadays they're computer graded, the essays, but that's a clear winner in my example, because you instantly get that one. It doesn't need so much development. We develop it, obviously, because we're going to score high for coherence and cohesion, but the first sentence says it all, which is a strong indicator that you've got a clear argument. Topic-specific vocabulary, collocations, and phrases related to social media. Online community, digital footprint, content sharing, internet privacy, online identity, internet addiction. I've said about half of the list here for two reasons. One, we're pushed for time. Two, I want you to sign up and get the ebook where you can see the whole list, and more importantly, you can see the next section, which is the collocations and phrases used in context, which I'm going to share with you now. Learning these phrases on their own is semi-helpful. It's better than nothing. It's better than a sharp stick in the eye, as we say in England. But learning these phrases in the right context is the way to go. And by the way, as I said in previous tutorials, you can always just jump online, write your sentence, paste it into Google, search, and if you find 20 results with that phrase in that sentence, it's probably not a natural use. But if you find 20 million, you're on the right track. Let's go. You should be careful about your digital footprint on social media. As you heard me say before, I think that a person should be careful. We can use social media for content sharing. They might have a strong online presence due to their active use of social media. We may experience virtual reality through some social media platforms. You might enjoy social networking on different platforms. Straightforward. Model essay about the advantages and disadvantages of social media. Social networking has become an integral part of our lives. Have you noticed there? We didn't use social media, we used social networking. We're showing the examiner we've got an expansive vocabulary. Social networking has become an integral part of our lives. It allows us to connect with people from all over the world, share our thoughts and experiences, and learn from others. However, it also has its downsides. Wonderful little short sentence. As I've said in previous tutorials, sentence variety is one of those factors, one of those stylistic elements we can introduce into our essay to make it flow. We want a range of short sentences, medium sentences, long sentences, complex sentences. We want to include as many different types as possible. A lot of students believe a high-scoring academic essay is full of long, fancy, complex sentences. Wrong. A high-scoring academic essay is a joy to read. It's a pleasure to read. And one of the ways we make it a pleasure to read is by sentence variance. Different sentence lengths. If it's full of long sentences, complex sentences, it's like, just imagine you're in a pond and the pond comes up to your waist and you're walking through it. You're wading through it. There's lots of resistance there. It's difficult. You've got to put a lot of effort in to reach the other side. Whereas a sentence that's clear, has different sentence lengths, it's like ice skating if it's written correctly. Just glide through it. Body paragraph 1. One of the main benefits of social media is that it allows for instant communication. Straightforward. You know the arguments already. You don't really need to develop it that much. And that's, in my opinion, that's the hallmark of a good argument. Those are the kind of arguments we want. They're just simple, clear, easy to explain, easy to get. Show the examiner we're off to Australia, we're off to Canada, we're off to the UK. We can send messages to our friends and family no matter where they are in the world. It also provides a platform for sharing ideas and information. For example, many people use social media to raise awareness about social issues or to share educational content. Furthermore, social media can foster a sense of community. People can join online groups or forums that are dedicated to the interests or challenges they are facing. Super. Straightforward. We're not really sort of like slamming Facebook, I mean, personally, we've all got our own opinions about social media. Like, some hate it, some love it. It's not the time or the place to share, to get personal. What we're doing now is just writing for writing's sake. We're writing to get ourselves to Australia, to the UK, to Canada. We don't need to get emotionally involved in this essay. We just want to score high, move on. Job done. Next body paragraph. However, social media has also its downsides. One of the main issues is that it can contribute to feelings of isolation. While we are connecting with others online, we may neglect our real-life relationships. Another issue is that social media can lead to cyberbullying and harassment. People can hide behind their screens and say things they would never say in person. Finally, social media can spread misinformation. Love that one. Misinformation. False news and conspiracy theories can spread quickly on social media, leading to confusion and fear. That's fine. Straightforward. Perhaps one too many ideas in there for my liking. I would have chosen one and developed it a little bit further. But we're on topic, and all of them are valid arguments. In conclusion, while social media has many benefits, it also has many downsides. Yeah, that's a weak sentence. It is important for individuals to use social media responsibly and be aware of its potential negative impacts. We must remember that while virtual interaction can be beneficial, it should not and cannot replace real-life communication. Beautiful. A little bit of parallelism, a stylistic element there. At the end, final sentence. Great way to finish And if you want to learn more about parallelism, then check out the online course for more advanced stylistic elements. Just as a side note, personally, when I'm doing one-on-one tuition and we're looking at these stylistic elements of academic writing, there's nothing more that I enjoy when working with a student and we've passed the point of correction and we're moving on to improvement. It's like, tick that box, now we can really move forward with getting this IELTS exam, and just, it's like we've built this super fast car and we know it's a beast and we know it goes fast. Final touch is just painting it and putting on that go faster stripe, for example. All right, speaking, part 3, questions, model and model answers. Why do you think social media has become so popular? Now, in our speaking confidence course, we give you model frameworks to use for the questions. We give you a formula to use for your answer, so you're responding quickly, easily, and fluently every single time, and in a grammatically accurate and correct fashion. That's all in the speaking confidence course. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that because this was a typical question where we could use some of the techniques we teach in the speaking confidence course. Question: why do you think social media has become so popular? I believe social media has become popular because it allows people to connect with others in a way that was not possible before. It provides a platform for sharing ideas and information, and it can also be a source of entertainment. Additionally, it can help people feel less isolated by connecting them with others who share similar interests or experiences. One of the key online community aspects of social media is what draws people to it. Not too bad. I'll give you a more natural answer now. Should there be stricter regulations on social media content? Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. If you'd have listened to the previous tutorials, or if you're listening, you may have cracked a smile from that one. So let's go. Should there be stricter regulations on social media content? Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. There should definitely be stricter regulations on social media content. I guess there's a few reasons for this. Firstly, as far as I know, there isn't really an age restriction for new users on Facebook, and if the government doesn't implement regulations, it's very doubtful the big media companies, the big social media companies, would implement the regulations, because it's kind of harmful to their interests, So I think, there should be probably more stricter regulations, largely because we need them to protect younger users on the platforms. There we go. So if your answer has, I guess, well, to be honest, these kinds of phrases, don't worry. Just don't overuse them. They're totally natural, especially when we're talking about these topics that we probably wouldn't talk about in a social environment, Like the last time when you met with your friends, did one of them ask, "Hey, Peter, should there be stricter regulations on social media content?" Very doubtful. I mean, if your friend did, awesome. But it's not so natural. So that's why it's okay to maybe be caught a little bit off guard. Again, in our course, we give you techniques and tools to help you get back on your feet, to buy you a few seconds of time so you can organize your thoughts and you can give a coherent answer. As I said, when you sign up to IELTS Podcast, you're going to get this ebook instantly. If you don't get it instantly, it means we're still making it and we're going to be sending it out soon. And I'm mentioning that because in the ebook that we will send to you, you're going to have a list of resources that will just help you dive into the topic in more detail and bring you up to date, sort of like on topics, which is useful. And you can also probably see some of the collocations and phrases we mentioned in a more natural environment. So as I said, that's it for me today. I wish you a beautiful day. If you're struggling with the IELTS, and if you're in a hurry to pass, go to IELTSPodcast.com. Sign up there. You'll get an introduction to the online essay checker that helps you pass faster. You need this because you're going to get an estimated score. You're going to figure out where you're going wrong. You don't even have to write essays. You just find your old essays, put them in, and you'll figure out what the problem is. And as I said before, strongly recommend upgrading to the premium checker. I was playing around with it just yesterday, and I found that when I upgraded to the essay checker, when I upgraded to the premium one, I got a better score. Now that might seem a little bit unfair, but I was thinking, why did the developer do this? And the reason is because it takes a lot of computing resources to run the premium check. But what we do is we check more data points. We can get a clearer idea. We can get a better overall idea, evaluate it better, and give a more accurate score. Because as I said, you can use it for free, and you can get a general idea. But if you're serious about improving, then you definitely need to upgrade, and it's going to speed up. You're going to get better data on more data points, and this will help you improve faster. So go to IELTSPodcast.com, sign up, get that material, get those tools. Good luck, keep moving. Please don't get overwhelmed. Please just keep moving forward. Take a step back, look at the big picture. It's going to have a massive impact on your life. It's definitely worth it. Keep moving forward, and you will get there. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening to IELTSPodcast.com.